Hey everybody, Mikeycat Outdoors here. So what are we doing today? We're gonna do an overnighter in as low as 4 degrees Fahrenheit, January. No wood stove. So let's check it out. Alright, so I made a slight modification to my Chinese diesel heater. I got a new power cable on here. So I routed it inside these lugs. That one's in particular, it was missing a nut. Kept falling off. So I ran stuff inside and got a little 12-volt plug hooked up to my jackery. Let's see how this bad boy works. Pad I'm going to use out here in the 5-degree night is a Thermarest NeoAir X-Therm. That's the long and wide version. It's got an R value of 6.9 and it says it's 1 pound 6 ounces or 610 grams, 25 by 72 inches or 64 by 183 centimeters. It's 2.5 inches thick or 6.4 centimeters thick. So a lot of times in the past I've used a XPED down mat 9, which had an R factor of 9. So it's a little bit lower, a little bit smaller pad too in terms of size. But I've been wanting to try this one out for a while. I've had it, haven't taken it out of the box yet, so it was a good opportunity to put it through its paces. Plate this with the schnozzle bag. Nozzle bag hooks up to the inflate-deflate port on a Thermarest pad, and then whenever you want to take it off, just kind of pop it off, and just shut right there. Really don't need to, and then you can just turn this clockwise to shut it. Now, when this guy is open all the way like this, it says when you want to deflate, you can press on these arrows and rotate it, and then it'll turn it into a deflate function. Let's say it's pretty well inflated. They say it's a crinkly sounding pad because it's got like some reflective stuff inside of it, but this would be kind of nice to try out for once. This is the Arctic Oven Quest. It's a 1 to 2 man Arctic grade dome tent made by Airframes Alaska. Used to be Alaska Tarp Tent. And I've got a little Weaver 5 kilowatt cheap Chinese diesel heater cranking some heat in through the input vent. So this tent is the only one in their line that does not have a stove jack in it. So you've either got to sleep in the cold or bring a small heater or whatnot. A little buddy heater works great for it. So we're inside the Arctic Oven Quest. I put down some Reflectix foil-lined bubble wrap. It makes a really good thermal break from the ground, so that way whenever you lay on it or your arm falls onto it or whatever, you sit on it, you don't get like a cold butt or cold arm or anything. The ground doesn't suck the heat away from you as easily. And then I got the X-Therm pad right here, and Jackery going. And Arctic ovens have a little inlet pipe, and they also have an outlet pipe on the other end of the tent. So on this one, I just fed my dryer vent through for my diesel heater and warming it up fairly nicely in here so far. It's not too bad. But this tent will fit like 2 people in it. One person, a lot of gear, and it's the smallest of the Arctic oven line that they've got. Comes in orange, which is what I've got, or coyote brown. I don't remember if they got any other colors out now, but now Arctic oven, I think the Alaska Tarp Tent is what they used to be called. Now I think they're Airframes Alaska. They got bought out like a year or 2 ago. Changed their name, changed a few products around, but pretty much have the same lineup on these insulated tents. So this stuff here, this Vapex, it's like a spun polypropylene, and it allows, you know, like the heat to kind of stay in here, but it also allows like moisture and water vapor and stuff to like go out of the tent, and then anything that's going to condense is going to condense on the outer layer of the tent, and it won't rain back down through the center layer. So that's one nice thing about it. It holds the heat really well, and you don't need a really big heater to warm up something like this. This tent is probably in about the 18-pound range or so. I'll try to look up the specs and post them here. One thing I will say about this tent, I've used it a few times. Out of all of them that I've got, it may have gotten improved with the latest version, but the version I have is a pain in the butt to put up, because they switched from these little sleeves that you had to put the poles through, and now they got actual clips that you can just clip the poles onto. But you got 4 poles that you got to put on, so you put the outer corners first, and then they got like inner cross ones that you put in under the other ones. So it's like you can't stake it down yet until you get all those poles in. And when you secure them into the grommets, they are just a pain in the butt to get them in there. And you know, it's like you try to get them in and you're fighting, you're pulling on a strap, you're trying to pull on a pole, and then you're trying to line up the grommet. And I mean, for one person, I don't know. 2 person, you could do it, but 1 person, it'd drive you nuts. I think they made the straps when they made my tent a little too tight. So yeah, it was a pain in the butt to set it up. Took me well over an hour to get everything set up on this. Like I said, I don't set it up a whole lot. I like my pipeline a lot better. The Arctic Oven 12 is pretty nice too. That one definitely takes a couple people to put up because of the size of it. But for 1 person setup, the pipeline's really nice. You can sleep 2 or 3 people in that. So it's got a lot more room. And this is also, since this is the smallest tent that they carry, it's also the only one that does not have a stove jack in it. So that's one thing to be aware of. So in here, you can heat this up with one of those real small tank top buddy heaters, little propane heaters. And one of those will last most of the night, but it won't last the entire night. I've tried those a couple times on like 30-degree nights. Yeah, it's roughly 0 centigrade, and you know, it worked. Kept it probably like 60 Fahrenheit in the tent, at least. It was comfortable. It's supposed to get down to about 4 or 5 tonight Fahrenheit, which is, I don't know, probably like -17, -20 or something centigrade. I don't know the math. I'm in the U.S. So I'll post those numbers up for all the international folks that want those numbers. So, but yeah, it's definitely nippy putting everything up. It's cold outside right now. It's about now 7:30 at night, and it's probably like 14 Fahrenheit outside. And yeah, I was freezing by the time I got this all put up. just regular pants, no long johns or anything. My hands, I had to take my gloves off a lot to get the poles and get the grip and all that stuff, so my hands were cold, my body was starting to chill down, legs and feet were like frozen, but I managed to get it up. A lot of snot rockets in the process, but once I got everything done, I went in, got my heater configured, and got a few other pieces of gear set up, so I'll have some fun out here. On the other side of the tent here, you've got the little pass-through vent. So it's got one on the inner tent and one on the outer tent. And you can just kind of feed them through. They do have a little thing that I bought that you can like Velcro over. It's got a little screen if you want to keep stuff out or keep critters out. You know, if you're somewhere where it's a little more temperate temperatures. But in this cold winter weather, I don't have to worry about that. But this way, yeah, it provides some ventilation. This one's actually got a second door on the back with a window, so you can actually use this as like a dual entry tent, whereas all the others are pretty much single entry. Of course, you got your little storage bins in all these. All the Arctic ovens pretty much have that. Roll-up door, another window here in the front, and little gear hook up here at the top. These little corner things up here and that center part, there's like a little gear loft you can get to put in here. I don't remember if I bought one for this model or not, and I thought I had a canvas floor liner. They got these little D-ring grommets down there in the corners of the tent, and you can put like a little canvas floor cover on here just to keep the floor nice and clean. But I didn't remember seeing that in my crate, so I don't remember if I bought one for this one or not. I got it for the larger tents. So that diesel heater, I got it hooked up here to the Jackery. It says it's only cranking 19 watts of 12 volt DC power to run that fuel pump and the fans and all that stuff for the heat exchanger. So that's not too bad, since this is a 1,000 watt hour battery bank. I'm cranking what, roughly 20 watts there. That's not too bad. With 12 volts, that's what, like not even 2 amps going through that plug. I've got my heater cranked to medium setting right now. Got my exhaust vented away enough. I'd be curious to see with the cold weather if the fuel gels up in the middle of the night. That could be a problem. May need to put some additive in there. I got the extender hose in here. So let's check out Shangri-La. Old Arctic oven tent. Flip my outer door out of the way. Small little vestibule here. And got my Thermarest X-Therm pad in there, and a little bit of Reflectix. And I keep my Jackery on the inside so it doesn't get too cold at night, so the battery won't die down in the cold. But this will fit about 2 people comfortably, or 1 person and a bunch of gear. It's got entry door and exit door there on the other side. A little output vent over there, and I'm using the input vent here to run my hose through. And I can touch that. It's not super hot, so there's really no risk in this kind of weather of this burning down my tent. Got a little bit of sleep gear set up here. I got the little Thermarest pillow. I'll probably bring out some additional pillows later. I've got a Western Mountaineering Antelope 5-degree down sleeping bag. It's supposed to get down to about 5 in the wee hours. If that heater turns off, I'll definitely need that. And then on top I've got a hammock gear 30-degree top quilt, which I just kind of splayed open and put on top of the other sleeping bag. So that way it kind of layers it up, traps any heat in, and that should take me down pretty well below anything that I'm going to encounter. There's a formula online that you can do. It's like 70 degrees Fahrenheit minus the, I think, outer bag, which is the thinner one. So say 70 minus 30, so that's what, 40, and then you divide that by 2. So then that's like 20 degrees that it adds to this. And then let's see, the 5-degree bag, so 5 minus, say, 20. So this kind of setup could take you down to probably about minus 15 Fahrenheit, just based off of that rough calculation. So there's a lot of merit in bringing an extra bag sometimes in the wintertime. It can be just a simple 30-degree quilt, and that's enough to get you in a little bit of extra buffer there. The only bad problems I'm having with this Reflectix and having snow on my shoes is, you know, just getting a lot of water and junk melting as I'm walking through here, standing and kneeling around, getting on here and then being close to my down sleeping bags. Looks like it claims it's about 80 degrees in here on top of the Jackery, 80 Fahrenheit. And it's not too bad. I don't know if I believe the 80-degree thing. I would say it's a comfortable 60, maybe. Could be 70. I don't know. I'll give that a little more time, see what it says as time goes on. I was holding that for a little bit when I brought it out here, so there could still be a little bit of body temperature affecting it. But seems like it's trying to go up a little bit. 81 Fahrenheit. So, you know, it could be in the 80s in here. It's not too bad in here. You know, I'm not sure if it's really as hot as the thermometer says. I'm going to give that sucker maybe another 15 minutes to acclimate to the temperature in here. The garage where I pulled it from was like 60 degrees. I had it in my hand for a while, so you know that's like 90-something degrees. And then put it out here, set down for a little bit on top of the Jackery, and it's reading like 80, 81 or so. Okay, 82. So maybe it is the real temperature, what's coming off of that heat there. Throughout the rest of the tent, I don't think it's exactly that hot, but there near the heat source, it's probably fairly warm. Out here where I'm at, it's probably, I'm gonna guess, 70 Fahrenheit or something. I'll probably move that over to the other side here on the bedding and just see what it reads. And you know, obviously depending where you're at in the tent, there's going to be a little bit of temperature differential in here, but it's a lot better than 14 Fahrenheit outside, which is what my weather app says. I do got to say again, I do like using this Reflectix because I can touch this right now and I'm sitting on it, and I mean, I don't feel any cold spots coming up from the ground where I'm at. A little butterfly wind thingy out there shimmering in the light. Oh, this is kind of cozy. Just laying down here and both of these sleeping bags. I kind of took my clothes and put them in a bin on the other side of the tent here. So that way I just kind of keep everything pretty much off the ground. You know, won't get too cold there. And I got the quilt on top of my sleeping bag. The thermometer is claiming about 77 down here towards the foot end. I think the lowest I saw it was 75 when I had it a lot closer to that vent earlier. And yeah, it's not too bad. I know the sleeping bags are still a little bit colder. It's going to take some body heat to warm them up. So they're still a little cool, and it's not too bad. But yeah, I could be cozy in this. I'm not sure how long that heater's going to last tonight, though, so I think that's my outer door coming down. I didn't secure it yet, so I still got to do all that. Tighten up the outer layer of the vestibule. Keep any critters or any weather or other stuff out, and keep some of the heat in a little more. So that's kind of the area where I'm losing heat. It's because I got that outer door open. Everywhere else, I've got the outer skin kind of tied down close to the ground, and snow skirt and everything, so it keeps it fairly well insulated in here with that double layer like that.
You will not go to the Jedi. You will bring the Jedi to me. Power.
Oh, I got my hood on. A sleeping bag. I don't usually use these too much, but it's not too bad in here. I noticed more of that condensation and wet floor stuff from walking around earlier underneath my pad. Kind of making a couple of spots when I'm laying unevenly, where my body's pressing down a little bit closer to the floor. Yeah, a few kind of cool spots. It's not really like totally freezing or anything, but I don't have any thing on my legs right now, so it's like, outside of just wearing regular underwear and that, my legs are kind of exposed, so if I'm pressing down too much, it's getting a little bit of a chill. That's one thing I guess I can say. My Xped Down Mat 9, it's a lot thicker. It's like a 4-inch pad, whereas this is like 2.5 inch, so there's substantially more distance between you and the ground with that one than with this. And of course about 3R value of difference, so 2 or 3 somewhere in there, so a little bit of difference, but yeah, I'll say that Reflectix probably adds another R1, R2, something like that as a ground brake. But yeah, I'm feeling underneath the pad, and it's definitely cold down there. Of course, when I put my hand under there for a while, it warms up. I think that's the Reflectix doing its job, but I feel some spots that just feel like they're kind of borderline wet. Like I said, that could be just from me walking around on this earlier while I was setting everything up and having snow melting off of my shoes. But as long as I control a lot of that, I shouldn't have too many problems. Let's say overall, it's comfortable in here. I can do this. You can too! Good night, everybody. Well, everybody, the dreaded E8 error code. The unit started surging at power usage to like 100 watts, and then it went back down to like 10 watts, and everything just cut out. So I tried to restart it. The fuel pump never started back up, and then eventually it just kicked back to E8. So this was after I added a little bit of fuel to it, and I added some fuel additive as opposed to help it not gel up and whatnot. So I don't know if that buggered it up or if it just got too cold for it. Either way, yeah, it's gonna be a cold one. Well guys, since the heater died, which I kind of feared that would happen in the real cold weather, I guess I'm gonna be sleeping in 6-degree weather. So, whew, it's been a while. But get the right insulation for a nice hot water bottle in the foot of your sleeping bag, which luckily I did. Can probably make it through the night. It's definitely gonna be chilly. It's a good thing this is an insulated tent because it'll keep it a little bit warmer than outside, but with those vents being open, it's definitely gonna be cold in here. Well, there's always a plan B. Little buddy heater. Yeah, it's like 50 degrees Fahrenheit in here now. It's definitely a lot colder than it was earlier. That diesel heater running. And battery on my phone's probably down to like 5%, so I'm gonna have to shut her down for the night. So good night everybody. Catch you again in the morning. Morning guys. Well, it's 19 or 20 degrees or so in here Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's warming up a little. I was touching it. But the buddy heater, the original tank frosted up, quit about 6 in the morning, and so I got maybe 6 hours of use out of it. Thermostat on the second attempt didn't work out so well. I was having problems with the first tank too, trying to get the start. Had to try multiple times, get that thermostat to fire up that ceramic disc there. But the second one just would not go, would not go, would not go. So after a while I just said, screw it. Tried to get my phone up, and of course it was cold in here. It was like 32 degrees in here at the time. So yeah, when I tried to fire up my phone, battery was cold. It said it was only down to 1% and it died on me. So I eventually put it in my sleeping bag, which is what I should have done the first place. Well guys, I survived the night, so I gotta depart here and get ready for work. The situation last night didn't fare out so well. So the diesel heater, it died probably around midnight. Shortly after I changed the fuel, added a little bit in there, had some fuel additive, little cap that I put in to try to keep it from gelling, and I don't know if that caused a problem or not. And then it was like a half a tank, so I topped it off, and not too long after that the fuel pump stopped clicking. So then a thing started, fan was going up, and I saw the power usage go from like 20 watts to 100 watts on the Jackery, so I knew something was up. And then it died back down, and it died. I went, tried to restart it, got the E8 fuel code on the thing. It wasn't getting fuel, so yeah, it might have gummed up, or hopefully the fuel pump didn't burn up, but we'll see. Switched out to a little buddy heater, and yeah, the thermostat on that thing was a little tricky to get started out in the garage, and so eventually after about 4 attempts I got the thing to light and stay lit, and then brought it in, warmed everything up in there to about, I don't know, 50 Fahrenheit, and like I thought, it lasted about 6 hours. So about 6 this morning, that tank was dead. I'd slept fairly comfortably in there through the night. Only time I had any cold spots was like on my bottom, if I was sleeping with an area pressed down too low to the ground, or was pushing through the pad. But otherwise, if I was laying flat or something, I was fine. So, I woke up, didn't have balaclava on, and it was like 32 degrees in there at the time when that went on, and swapped out propane tanks, tried to put the other one on, and that thermostat just would not keep that pilot light lit. It just, heater wouldn't go. So I tried it probably 5 or 6 times. Eventually just gave up on it. Hunkered down in my sleeping bags and slept sideways, kept my balaclava on at that point, and had my head between the pillow and a sleeping bag, and stayed fairly warm. So I slept there for another couple hours, and you know, sleeping bag combination, a 5-degree bag and a 30-degree top quilt on night. You know, that kept me warm. So it's about 7 degrees out here this morning, and the lowest I saw it in a tent was about 19 degrees. Decided to bring the stuff in, at least the pillows and little thermostat or thermometer, all that sort of stuff. So water bottle and all that. The water kept all right. It was still liquid this morning. It was nice having that down there by my feet last night, the hot water bottle. So, you know, it wasn't too bad of a night. But yeah, a little cold. That's one of the bad things about wintertime. Gear will fail. So always have a backup, maybe a secondary backup for things, because, oh shoot, you know, will happen. So it's happened before. I've had stove failures and stuff. This time it was all heater failures. But hope you guys enjoyed what you seen. I know it was rough footage, cutting it a little short, but I might come back out here again for another night or two, see how it goes. We're supposed to have rain in the forecast on the weekend, so yeah, we'll see. But I'll catch you guys again in the outdoors. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed the Arctic oven here. Nice little tent, but a pain in the butt to set up. That's one thing I will say about it. If you like what you've seen, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you again in the outdoors. As always, thanks for watching.